The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. It's 54 degrees at 7:40 on this Tuesday, October 10th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. Israel's military says nearly 1,500 bodies of Hamas militants have been found in Israeli territory. Hamas now threatening to execute hostages as Israel is vowing to get those civilians back home. President Biden's been interviewed as part of the investigation into his handling of classified documents. Donald Trump's fraud trial continues. The former president's longtime financial chief takes the stand. One guy from Missouri goes for Guinness glory for longest time paddling in a boat made out of a pumpkin.
This may take all day or it may be over in 5 minutes.
It was not over in 5 minutes. Monday Night Football, Raiders beat the Packers. MLB postseason, D-backs now a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. Braves and Phillies tied at a game apiece. AccuWeather, clouds and sun today. High in the mid-60s. Could see a shower along the way. Going to be a nice middle of the week, though. Wins News Time 7:41. Back out to the roads we go. Here's Karen Stewart.
All right, let's take a look and see how we're doing at the Hudson River. I know we're not doing that great. Inbound George, upper and lower levels are 45 minutes. Inbound at the George upper, there's EMS activity on the ramp to exit 1B for the Harlem River Drive and Amsterdam Avenue. The left lane is blocked. The inbound George lower is 45. The Lincoln is 50. And the inbound Holland Tunnel has got a 1-hour delay. The southbound FDR Drive still has that unauthorized truck at Gracie Mansion. The right lane's blocked. There are southbound FDR delays that go back to the Harlem River. The westbound side of the BQE before the Kosciuszko Bridge, that disabled truck we had there amidst the construction, is gone. And if you're heading out into New Jersey, we've got the northbound Garden State Parkway at 145 with an accident. Right. Eastbound 78 express lanes at 54 in Hillside. We've got an accident over on the shoulder. Westbound 80 at 59 for Market Street in Patterson. There's an accident. And westbound 4 near Route 17 in Paramus. We've got an accident with a disabled in Newark on southbound 21 at 3rd Avenue blocking the left. We've got subway delays on the W's, 4, 5s, EFs, A's, and D's. And alternate side of the street is back in effect today. Citywide. Our next report 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Palestinian militants firing more missiles into Israel as the air raid sirens continued to blast in Tel Aviv yesterday. The death toll on both sides soaring over 1,600, with 11 Americans now among the dead.
The mood in the country is basically one of shock. Over 900 people killed. And the border basically totally breached, and the army was nowhere to be found. So people are having a hard time to digesting this, and they do want to see the army take harsh measures to crush Hamas.
That's Robert Berger in Jerusalem. Meanwhile, Israeli authorities say Hamas has threatened to execute hostages taken from Israel on Saturday. Over 150 civilians now being used as human shields. A spokesman for Hamas has said militants will kill one civilian hostage every time Israel targets civilians without warning. The Biden administration is providing Israel with military support ahead of a possible ground incursion. President says the U.S. is looking for more information regarding the 11 Americans known to have been killed and others still unaccounted for.
Brandeis University professor Elon Troen says his daughter, Deborah, was among the Americans who lost their lives this weekend. She lived with her family on a kibbutz near the Gaza border.
She was full of life.
Troen says he was on the phone with his daughter when she and her husband were killed and her 16-year-old son shot.
It was she who saved his life by design, falling on him, and the bullet that reached his abdomen came through her.
Correspondent Nancy Cordes. More rallies and protests set for New York City later today.
Governor Hochul, Mayor Eric Adams will be among those speaking at the New York Stands with Israel rally here near the UN this afternoon. The UJA Federation of New York is the organizer. We spoke with Deputy Chief Planning Officer Hindi Popko.
We're hearing from Israelis that they are afraid, but more importantly, they are resolved and that they are committed to moving forward. Israel has never been more united.
Now, like many New Yorkers, she has relatives in Israel. Her brother is there.
He lives in a small community, and he's the only man of his age. That essentially his peers, his Israeli peers, he's Israeli and American, and he sort of missed the boat to join the army. They're all at war right now. They've all left home.
Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM at 47th and 2nd.
Thousands turned out for a prayer service in Crown Heights, Brooklyn last night. Just one of many ceremonies being held throughout the city. The Orthodox Jewish community coming together to sing and pray. One woman on Long Island is hoping to get some news on her missing cousin in Israel.
Orly Somack from Nassau County shared a photo with me of her 25-year-old relative in Israel. Her name is Leah, and she was attending the large music festival there when it was attacked. No one has heard from her since.
We're just waiting to hear, I guess, one way or the other, whether she is identified as one of the victims, if she's identified as one of the hostages.
And in Israel, Dr. Ron Lobel has been helping to treat hundreds of patients, including children, at Barzilai Medical Center. He says a rocket damaged part of the hospital.
I can't even start to describe you how difficult it is, because we have never seen such a scenario. We have never imagined such a scenario.
Donations to help the hospital care for the victims can be made on the website barzilai.us. Sophia Hall, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
In New Jersey, Congressman Josh Gottheimer has heard from many Garden State residents who have loved ones in Israel who were taken hostage or now serving in the military.
Over 250 people were killed or missing, and who know people who were there, and or women raped there at the concert. They're burning and parading young girls in the streets from that concert. These are terrorists.
And Gottheimer says he's hoping that Congress will pass a resolution later this week to get more assistance to Israel as soon as possible. Winds news time 7:47. It's 54 degrees right now. We're headed up to 64 in Midtown. The White House says the president's been sitting down to answer questions over the last 2 days.
President Biden was interviewed by special counsel Robert Hur and his investigators as they conduct an investigation into the current president's potential retention of classified documents that were found at his think tank in Washington, D.C. and his residence in the past few months. These papers were from the time that he was vice president and senator.
Robert Laguerre reporting the president has said that he wasn't aware that he had the documents, and experts say the interview could signal that the special counsel investigation could be coming to a close. The civil fraud trial of former President Trump resumes today with a formerly incarcerated ex-top executive on the stand.
The former president's longtime finance chief, Alan Weisselberg, is scheduled to testify. He's also a defendant in the case. He served time behind bars for tax fraud. The New York State Attorney General's lawsuit claims that Weisselberg engineered Mr. Trump's financial statements to meet his demands that they show increases in his net worth and signed off on lofty valuations for assets despite appraisals to the contrary. The documents were given to banks, insurers, and others to make deals and secure loans. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
A Supreme Court hearing today in the case of Murray versus UBS Securities, which deals with employee whistleblower retaliation.
The question before the Supreme Court has to do with the burden of proof in whistleblower cases. The law protecting whistleblowers in the financial services industry requires that the employee prove that the bank intended to fire the employee in retaliation for refusing to falsify financial information. But who has the burden of proof on the question of retaliation? The employee or the employer?
It's correspondent Thane Rosenbaum. Trevor Murray sued UBS Securities, based in Weehawken, saying that UBS fired Murray because he reported alleged fraud. He claimed the company violated whistleblower protections. Police are still on the hunt for the fourth suspect in an anti-gay attack on a 72-year-old man back on September 15th. 3 teenagers, a 16-year-old, 14, and 13-year-old, have already been caught. The 4 attacked the victim near 17th Street, yelled out anti-gay slurs, broke the guy's jaw. Photos of the suspect are up on 1010wins.com. And tomorrow is National Coming Out Day. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison will join New York LGBTQ Network President Dr. David Kilnick to announce a new hotline for unreported hate crimes involving the LGBT community. Dr. Kilnick spoke to 1010 Wins.
We're going to send a clear message to all LGBT community members throughout the New York area that we are not alone, that we have each other's backs, and that we will not be silenced by hate.
Dr. Kilnick says the hotline will get victims access to the police and also offer up support during the process of reporting the crime. Hey, what do you do with your pumpkin when it grows to 1,200 pounds? 1,200 pounds. One guy in Missouri shot for the stars. Wins News Time 7:50. We hit the roads next.
Is your old boiler making some less than positive noises? It could be on the way out. Why wait until it gets ice cold outside to find out it's going to be ice cold inside? Up here, winter doesn't play, and neither do Navien boilers. You know Navien for their industry-leading tankless water heaters, but Navien also offers high-efficiency boilers built with quality materials, a compact design, and a strong warranty. Take advantage of a federal tax credit of up to $600. Take that chill outside with Navien boilers, the ultimate heating and comfort experience. Find your local Navien boiler installer at boilercomfort.com.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? Because everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Wins News Time 7:51. Let's get you back out to the roads here on this Tuesday. What do you say, Karen Stewart?
Well, the westbound LI East still has a disabled tractor trailer at 39 for Glen Cove Road, North Hempstead. The right shoulder is blocked, and there are delays that go back to 40. Now the westbound Southern State, east of exit 28 for Wantagh Avenue, has an accident being reported. We've got at least one lane blocked there. The LIRR is still good. The Newark to World Trade Center line of the path is back. Both directions of the W's are suspended between Whitehall Street and South Ferry and Canal, following a brake activation at Whitehall Street. Bronxbound 4 and 5s, Queensbound E and F's, Queensbound A's, and Brooklynbound D's are all the trains that are running with delays. Southbound FDR Drive near Gracie Mansion, and we've got delays back to the Harlem River Drive here. At Gracie, there's an unauthorized truck, and we've got the right and center lanes blocked. We just cleared an accident on the southbound Deegan at Van Cortlandt Park, so that's out of there. And as we take a check of what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, 50 minutes in at the George, 45 Lincoln, an hour at least inbound at the Holland Tunnel, with alternate side of the street in effect today citywide. Traffic is sponsored by Consumer Cellular. Consumer Cellular offers the exact same nationwide coverage as major carriers, even in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Their 100% in U.S.-based support is just a click away, plus activation is always free. Visit consumercellular.com to switch today. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Let's get a check of the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Meteorologist Dean DeVore. Dean, I understand it's the 10th anniversary of the pumpkin spice latte today.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah. And on 10-10 day, all things leading to a 10. The whole day is not a 10, although the sunrise was. We're looking at I would call it about a 7 of a day because, look, that sunshine already, we're seeing clouds start to push back in from the west-southwest. There may be a sprinkle or a shower as we go out through the day. A lot of the time it's going to be dry.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me in my mission to record history for future generations by way of listening to 1010 Wins on my commute to work. Thank you again. I really appreciate the support, the views, the likes, the comments. I read all the comments, and I do appreciate it. We'll see you on the next video.